Alright, guys, I'm going to start this off by prefacing a couple of things. First of all, I'm so sorry that my mic's too close, isn't it? I'm so sorry I had to do the D&D recording bit this way. It's really inconvenient, but it was my own mistake for not, it was my own mistake for not recording sessions 3 through 7. So, and the second thing is, this obviously isn't going to be as cinematic, as climactic, with the big reveals as the actual story would have been. I'm going to tell this like a long summary. I'm going to try to make this video under 30 minutes, when in reality, this would have been about 14 hours of content. I'm so sorry. But we're going to label this episode 3 through 7 summary. I'm sorry you'll never get to experience those episodes, but I just didn't record them because I didn't expect to go public with this, but I decided since I had no other project that I wanted to. Anyways, we're going to start all the way back. Well, for you guys, it's actually recently. We're going to start all the way back. For me, I need to go to Balleywood Kingdom. Okay, so the crew just killed Landlifter Enos, right? They just killed Landlifter Enos. And now, their new bounties, I believe, came out in this session. And I can actually check, because I kept the history. I know that the second and third session, if I check my files, I can find when they were filmed. But, basically, they defeated Landlifter Enos. He had a really OP power, but he wasn't all that good. Yeah, let's check when this video was filmed, when the second one was filmed. On the 21st of December. So, wow, this project has taken me a long time. 21st of December. Okay. So, any bounties after that? Yeah. Okay. So, no bounties this time. They kill Landlifter Enos. They take a nap in a, a little inn. And then they're going to head from Barktown on the Plantera map, which you guys, or the Balleywood Kingdom map, which you guys don't have. They're going to head from Landlifter Enos' base to Plantera. When you enter Plantera, it's a beautiful landscape. It's just a basic island. Beautiful landscape, some trees. There's a big clock tower that's boarded up and looks quite old and run down. And it's... it seems like it's occupied by somebody. The people on the street noticeably are not going towards it. They're trying to avoid it purposefully. And also, in the distance, there's a big, amazing-looking mansion. And I believe the crew chose to go all the way back to the mansion first. So, oh my god, I'm all the way in the third set on the Grand Line. I need to go all the way back to the West Blue. Just to describe this better. Yeah, so they head back past this clock tower with the water and everything surrounding it. They keep heading on, they get up to this big Gallivant mansion. And they bust down the doors. I remember this. They busted down the doors to this mansion. They were like, "What's up, fuckers?" And they came in here, and there was a bunch of pirates, called single and double agents. They had a long, grueling battle with the single and double agents. They lost a lot of their health, which I don't have recorded here, and their levels have increased over 10 since this time. And they stole some resources, stuff from this base, and then they went down to face the King of Kings, King Zero, on his throne with his little prizes. And the King of Kings was a Paramecia user. He used the Shadow fruit in a completely different way than Gecko Moria ever used it. He used it to make weapons, so he used Shadow Dagger, Shadow Stake Cannon, Shadow Trap, which they're, wait, I'll just click the attacks. I'll roll them just to show you. There's Shadow Trap, there's a Shadow Snake, and then here is big boys. Shadow Cobra Seether, and Shadow Dagger model French stuff, which is his big attack, which can do up to 30 damage. And they had a long fight with this guy. They actually got pretty close to dying, I believe, in this session. Ray, by the way, after the fight with Landlifter Enos, went to train, or maybe it was before. It might have been before. Went to train with this guy because he had to go on a month break. Went to train with this guy to train his hockey and stuff. So they beat the shit narrowly out of King Zero. They topple the 10 kings of the West Blue, right? They exit this building. They go and defeat the rebels, which I don't really need to describe. They kind of went into that base. Mikrid used his Conqueror's Haki, and they kind of just whipped the shit out of the rebels. Rebel leader Napel was not very strong. He just had ironclad armor. He had a high armor class, not much. He was not very strong. Take a look at this. Oh, wow. He rolled 4 critical fails on those attacks. That is insane. And I used to do only 1Ds for these. He also had no modifiers. So, yeah, what I'm telling you, this guy was trash. And you can all see that on the chat, right? Let me go. Yeah. You can see the attacks on the chat as I do them. So that's the cool thing. So they kill the rebel leader, Napel. And they take a nap in the inn. And then the next day, the second version of bounties, which, by the way, we're on version 5 now. This is the second version, all the way back in the West Blue. The second version of bounties come in. And here's the new ones, if you remember the old ones from the first episode and the second episode. Ray Thunderbeard, 5 million. Ethan, 25 million. Law, 15 million. Elias Crow, 35 million. And Ren D. Kobayashi, 110 million. And it's revealed that he is Ren D. Kobayashi, because it just says Ren Kobayashi in the first one. So there's their new bounties. They also claimed 2 fruits from this little base here. A bubble fruit and a flame fruit. Ethan ate the flame fruit, and Elias ate neither, because he already had a devil fruit. I don't think... Yeah. Okay, I'll talk about that later then. Alright, so then the bubble fruit just went into storage, went in the captain's storage for that duration of time. After that, they went to New Beginnings to get their journey ready for the Grand Line. It's just a small town on the other coast, the opposite coast, with a marine base and some shops. They went into the different shops. I remember they bought some stuff because these shops were actually catered to their progression. These were progression shops because I'm lazy and I don't like to do more cool stuff. So I just literally gave them the weapons they could get for progression in these shops. Here's the important stuff. These 2 weapons, which I believe were both bought. The Konogashi daggers were for HUD, and the Scythe of Devil was for Ethan, which I feel like is kind of implied. And they came in here, and the marine base, Ray ran up to them. He had the ship. Ray went up to them. He was, like, stressed out. He was like, guys, I know you haven't seen me in a good week or so, but they took my friend Hanji. She's trapped in that marine base. We have to go save her, right? So they go in, and they beat the shit out of these Marines. I'll show you. I think the only scary guy was Commodore. Yeah, Commodore Banji was very high level. Here were his attacks, which my attacks back in this day still did not use anything above 1d6 for the most part, so they were still kind of weird. But yeah, this attack went demon mode back in the day. He critically failed his attack for armor, but then he critically succeeded the roll for how much armor. Yeah. You can see generally Banji was a pretty powerful guy. They struggled with him a little bit at level 7, I think this was. But yeah, they beat the shit out of Banji, and boom. New crew member, guys. I know it was just the 5 for a while, but now, first new crew member, it comes into play. I'll tell you a little bit about her since you don't know about her yet. This is Hanji Zoe. Her profile is a little outdated into the future right now because obviously we're not at this point in the story. She has the Bird Fruit model Phoenix. She is a Blessed Healer. Level 7 she was, but level 13 now. Cleric, Blessed Healer. She had probably 40 hit points at that time, and her stats were a little lower. But generally, I'll show you her most powerful attack, Red Hawk Fist. Yes. That was very powerful for the time, but she didn't have that at the time. And after picking up Hanji and their new ship, which, by the way, had some crazy, had some really good detailed maps. It had rooms for everyone on the ship. They set off on their new ship, the Grand Atlanta, to the Grand Line. I'll tell you the stats. 650 by 650. Whitebeard's Moby Dick was 500 by 500. 30 feet by 30 feet. Whitebeard's Moby Dick was 21 by 21. Has 4 floors, a deck with a crow's nest, campfire neck, and hooded wheel. Hospitality rooms, dorm rooms, lounge room, kitchen, captain's chamber, training and working rooms, training room, gigantic, Ray's workshop, and the doctor's office, and then storage, there's storage rooms. This ship is awesome. I'm really proud of this. It's got 700 hit points, so it's a beast of a ship. It cost them 350,000 berries. It sails 20 miles per hour, which is, if you know the One Piece world, that is insanity. Let me just show you how hard it is to crash the boat. Here's the boat's initiative, if you were wondering. It's a 14, if you didn't see that. And then cannonballs. It's got a lot of stuff on it that you don't even know about right now because those episodes weren't recorded, but we'll keep going. So they sail up Reverse Mountain, which, if you don't know, is a waterfall that runs backwards in the One Piece world. They sail up Reverse Mountain in this ship, and they come back down, and they hit the water, and kablooey. I can finally close Arc 1 West Blue, hopefully for the last time. Holy shit, they're in the Grand Line. And the navigator, Ethan... Guys, you can't blame me. They haven't let me play this for a month. I'm kind of rusty. That's why I'm working on the card game after this, because I just, like, they can never show up for a new... Okay, Law has a log pose to the new islands and stuff. And, yeah, it's pure shit. That's pretty cool. Oh, yes, I did forget to mention, their bounties did also go up. And I'm not exactly sure why. I think there was a separation. I'm so sorry. I think there was a separation between when they went up. They went up after Landlifter Enos, and then they went up again after King Zero. So it was a lot of bounty increases in that one little time. So I'm going to have to tell you what they went up after King Zero. So just imagine those last ones were only after Landlifter Enos, right? Ray Thunderbeard, 10 million. Elias the Conqueror, 50 million. Ethan Enelok, 65 million. Randy Kobayashi, 120 million. Joins the Cursed Generation, but he was already in it. Yeah, he was the first member. And then Law, 225 million for getting the final blow on the king. Wait, Banji. Shit. They got new bounties again? How many new bounties did I give these guys? Fuck. Man, God. And then their bounties increased again after killing Banji just now. So they had a lot of... I remember why I did this, but yeah. Banji. They killed Banji. Yes. So then their bounties increased again after Banji. I'm so sorry. This is so anticlimactic. Elias the Conqueror, 75.5 million. Death, Ethan Enelok, 85 million. The Curse, Hanji Zoe, 101 million. Randy Kobayashi, 120 million. Ray Thunderbeard, 133 million. And Law, 225 million. Stayed the same. And their newest bounties, are the very cool ones that we'll show you in a second. So now we're just going to run through Boin Archipelago. Let's see how I'm doing for time. 13 minutes. That's perfect. Okay, so they arrive in Dawn Town of the Boin Archipelago. Let me close the West Blue and open Grand Line number 1. Dawn Town, Boin Archipelago. The Boin Archipelago, if you don't know from One Piece, is a set of giant carnivorous plants that every 8 hours close to eat whatever's inside them. Doesn't sound very inhabitable, right? But I'll explain that in a second. It's this lush green island they land on with big flowers that look like they eat people. And there's a path that leads to a village, so they walk down this path to this village, and it's a bustling city. There's a restaurant that says, oh god, I was horrible at this the first time. Les Jardins des Vertes. The Garden of the Green Goddesses. It's a French-esque restaurant, and they enter the restaurant. Oh, no, they go to the fish market first. They walk over to the fish market, right? And they talk to this old man. I remember this distinctly. They talk to this old man, and he says the words, yes, I just wish that Beetle Needle wasn't the ruler of this country. You know, we could be so much more prosperous. And as he says that, Everyone else looks around him, and you see people around him start sweating. They're sweating deeply. They look around him with fear. And you guys are the crew was confused. They were like, why is everybody looking at him like that? And out of nowhere, a soldier in a full beetle costume that looks like ironclad armor comes out with a machete and cuts this old man's head off. And then he disappears back into the forest. Blood goes everywhere. Everybody looks terrified. And then they go back to their work. And they just ignore it. Another beetle comes in to take the body and clean up the blood. And you see on the floor a little video transponder snail crawling away. Then they decide after that scarring event to go to the restaurant because they don't really give a shit. They're pirates. And they find a man named Flagmar. This man who's cooked at the restaurant all of his life, coming from a dishwasher to owning the thing when his grandpa Glagmar died. He's incredibly powerful, and he does not have that. That is outdated. I was going to give him that fruit, and then I realized that it would be way too OP, right? Because he doesn't have a devil fruit, does he? No. They enter the restaurant and talk to Flagmar. He tells them the story of his brother, Glagmar, who was taken to B3 to be interrogated about how the restaurant works. Because this restaurant is like a mercenary base. This specific restaurant, you see people insulting Beetle Needle all around, and you're like, oh, it's going to happen again, right? A beetle agent jumps through a window, and Flagmar does a brick fist and blasts him away, and he dies. This restaurant is a mercenary base. People can come here and say whatever they want and do whatever they want without persecution. That's why it's so popular, and that's why this Beetle Needle guy, who you don't know too well yet, hates it. So they work with Flagmar, and they're gonna go take down take down Beetle Needle, this warlord guy, very strong. And let me check on my map, actually. Do they go further inland? Yes, they go further inland to B3, a base. So it's a big, let me remember. This is just hard to remember so much stuff, guys. It's just a big metal box of a base with one entrance at the front, and they're going to enter here, and we finally get back to enemies, which is probably the most exciting part of this video. They enter here, they fight their way through rooms, fighting against spades. And the spades, I'll show you their attacks. They're not that deep. Here's all of their attacks. You can read them if you need to. Finger pistol, which does 2d12, but separated, because I just didn't know how to do 2d12s. Or no, it does 1d12, just 1d12. And then shave, which rolls 1d20 dexterity. And if it beats the enemy's natural dexterity, you dodge the attack. And then there's a finger pistol covered in armament hockey, which is 1d18 plus 1d6. And then there's iron body, which adds plus 10 HP, up to plus 10 HP. And there's tiger kick, which is just a 1d15. So they kill a bunch of those agents, right? And they eventually make their way to the fourth room. I'm sorry I'm rushing through this. I know it seems really rushed. I'm so sorry. They make their way to the fourth room. Big squad they've got here. They've got Law, Hanji, Flagmar, who will eventually join the crew, Mikrid, Ray, Ethan, and Hud. And they beat the shit out of Big Casino. What do you want to know about Big Casino? One, he's going to be in the card game, which will probably release by the end of the night, because it's actually not that hard to make these cards. We'll see. I'm probably going to release the first 1 or 2 sets by the end of the night, but I don't think I'll be completely caught up. He's got a couple attacks, right? He has, X-Drake's fruit. Dragon model Allosaurus. And here are his attacks. Bite, which does 1d12 biting damage. It's got no modifiers. Which, by the way, I didn't know what modifiers were at this time either. I've gotten way better at DMing already, and I bet I can improve way more. Then he's also got dual talent attack, which is 2d15. I could have done 47 or just like 48, you know. And then there's Claw Spinner, 2d12. Observation Hockey Future Sight. There's Iron Body. Tiger Click Talon Claw, which is 1d25. I don't know why I was so obsessed with the 1ds. There's Finger Talon Pistol and Armament Talon. And all these do shit damage because I didn't know what doing multiple dice was. But they eventually beat this guy up. They just beat his shit. And now they're all confident, right? They're like, okay, we can probably take on this warlord. So they make their way to Bass City. And in Bass City, you know what they do? They go to a bar and they talk to a couple of people, which this was very important for world building. So I'm going to be very specific here. First off, Law uses a gun, so I supplied him with some pop greens, which makes sense because this is the Boin Archipelago. If you know One Piece lore, Usopp trained in the Boin Archipelago for 2 years, but it was uninhabited in that universe. In this universe, it's the same universe, but in my version of that universe, it's inhabited because I said so. They also go into the Grand Bar, and they find 3 people. First, they talk to Mikrid's lost long brother, Izon, which, if you watched... You can't watch it because it doesn't exist. I forgot to talk to you about Izon. Before they entered the Grand Line, they met another Cursed Generation member named Izon, whose bounty quickly rised. Let me just tell you, he was one of the first members. His bounty was 445,000, the biggest of the Cursed Generation first version. And then it went up to, well, it stayed the same. And then it went up to 1,150,000, and then it went up to 2,256,000 when he became an emperor. It continues to rise. He asks Mikrid why he still adopts the family name after what they did to their sister. Aizen recalls the story Mikrid already knows already so well the rest of his crewmates, which is when he was a kid, his sister was abused day and night by their parents. She could never get a break. The other kids, because they were boys, were treated way easier than her. Their parents were generally horrible people. They dealt with almost everything in whippings, and they weren't at the houses a lot. So then one day, Izon chose to kill his parents, and here's his reasoning. He tells Mikrid and his crew various ideals. Any human who cannot support their family is filth not worth living. Any person who's ever done anything bad to their children deserves to die, no matter the cost. Izon is a supporter of absolute justice in the family setting, and he's extremely strong. His bounty has consistently tripled or doubled every other week, and his crew has grown rapidly. It was just him on a boat a month ago, and then he's now already an emperor in the New World. That is a record. They also met Hanji's fisherman granddaughter, Fisher Errol, who was very happy to see his granddaughter again, obviously. He retired from the Marines because of the very obvious corruption and abuse in the lower ranks and extreme distrust for the Celestial Dragons. When he retired, he mutilated a celestial dragon in good fortune because he was releasing his granddaughter, Hanji, from slavery. As a result, his bounty is 355 million berries. And then you meet Boltback Malibu, who's the least influential of these 3. Basically, Boltback Malibu is known for various contraptions and strategies when it comes to killing people. He isn't randomly ruthless or really strong like most pirates. He has a multitude of contraptions and robots to fight for him. To Malibu, every fight and life is itself is nothing but a strategy game like chess to him. He is never actually stressed out during a battle, even when he was a death away from breath. He just thinks of it as only a couple moves left to win. That's the bar. That was the lore. That was a lot of lore, and it was really cool in the moment, but I didn't record it. And then they head to the big final boss fight, which is going to be the last thing I'm going to describe. Going to try to get through this in 7 minutes. Big black building, metal doors. It has a big beetle on it. It says Beetle Needle. It's like he wants you to know this is his base. The final door has 6 locks on it when they enter, and they all have differently shaped keys. Each room has a key, right? There's this big main hall, 7 doors. The one at the end has 6 locks on it. So they go through these rooms. They go through the lounge. They beat the shit out of everyone in the lounge. They go to the library. They beat the shit out of everyone in the library who sounded really, really smart for some reason. They go to the storage. They beat the shit out of everyone in the storage. They go to the training facility, and then they beat the shit out of everyone there who were all Japanese and sounded like samurai. And they pretended they were a part of Wano. They were gaslighted into thinking they were part of Wano, but they weren't. And then they go into the rookie dorms, massacre everyone there. Veteran dorms, massacre everyone there. Then they use all the keys to open the Spades Hall. And there's 2 more Ace agents, and they massacre all of them. The Ace agents are only a little stronger than the Spades. Let me show you their attacks. Flash Kick can do a lot more damage. Hawk Kick can do a lot more damage. Piercing Black Hawk can do a lot more damage. That's basically the only changes. And then they enter the King's Lair. This is the only time I'm going to use music. Right? Oh, wait, no. Ah, got that. I will keep using music during the sessions, but it could get copyrighted, and I hope it doesn't get fully blocked. I'm gonna look into that and figure out which songs get me fully blocked, and then not play them, okay? They enter this big room. There's a big throne and a guy with crazy eyes on it who looks at them, and he talks a bunch of mad game. His monologue was insanely creepy, but I'm just not going to do it. He knows English, Skypian, Tribal, and Poneglyph. He's a level 14 challenge. He has passive observation hockey mastery. He's got level 11 mastery of observation, level 11 mastery of armament, and complete mastery of conquerors. When he gets up, the ground shatters at his feet. His strength is 20. His dexterity is 26. Let me just give you some examples. 20, 26, 20, 16, 18, 16. He's one of the most balanced characters I've ever made, besides damage-wise. And here are his attacks. Claw Swipe, 24 damage max. 26 damage max. And he got it. He got 2 crit. Well, okay, I guess. 32 damage max. 50 damage max. 60 damage max is his big attack. Boom, 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 boom. He can use observation focus. He can do an armament barrier. He can do internal destruction. He can do will domination and observation disable. He can also do future sight as a legendary action and parry. And here's his devil fruit if you want to read that. But I'm not going to do any more of his stats. They beat the shit out of Beetle Needle after he spits his crazy shit about how torturing people is good, you know what I mean? Like, he attaches body parts to people that shouldn't be there, like a tiger arm to a man leg, you know? It's like, stuff that I can't really describe. I can't do that monologue again right now. My voice really hurts already. Beetle Needle had 200 HP points, an armor class of 17. They got so lucky with this guy. And then, for the third time, after beating Beetle Needle, their bounties increased. Let me read them to you. The Buddha, 105 million. The Reaper, 112 million. Hanji Zoe, 155.5 million. Flagmar Venus Juro. This was a big reveal. 185 million. Ray Thunderbeard, 225 million. Vinsmoke Law, 350 million. And Ren D. Kobayashi, 425 million. Law also awakened his Vinsmoke genes and remembered all of his childhood abuse in this fight, but it did give him like +2 strength, +2 damage, like double, so much shit, dude. He got so good. He became like one of the best crewmates. But yeah, Rendi Kobayashi, Bounty, big boy, and then some of the other Curse Generation members got revealed after this. In summary, a lot of stuff happened in those late episodes. Big shocker, right? 8 episodes, a lot of stuff can happen. And the next saga that is starting that you guys will be able to see is Kayuka Island. The debut is going to be this weekend. We're filming it at 3 p.m. my time, and then we are actually publishing it probably about 5 hours later than that. So you can expect it sometime this Sunday. Thanks you guys for watching. I'm so sorry that we couldn't actually publish all the episodes. I know that might be a disappointment for a disappointment for some people, but either way, I had to do what I had to do. I probably should have filmed those, but yeah. Thank you for watching.